This is an overview of Port Lincoln and the port in the background, and then all the national park areas that are to the south and southwest and east of Port Lincoln City. You can see across Port Lincoln itself over Lincoln National Park on the Eyre Peninsula. This is the western approach to Port Lincoln, and you can see the white circular things in the bay there, which are the tuna farm nets, and then that beautiful area of protected lands, and all the fish processing works that are part of Port Lincoln. And now we're going to head more east and then south down onto the Eyre and Eyre Peninsulas. Out to Lincoln National Park and along Whalers Way. Here go the chicks. Geology here looks to be old calcareous dunes which were blown up during the last ice age when sea level was 130 metres below present, and they've since concreted into like a calcrete, geocrete material, quite hard, and so you get these cast limestone surfaces. This same sort of surface will go all the way across the Nullarbor, which is the world's largest limestone plain, and this is the eastern extremity of that. And you see here the short shrubby vegetation that covers it. It's a mixture of mulga and mallee. This is a turn off down to Wanner and Memory Cove, which is where we're going to get some intertidal photography. As you can see, it's four-wheel drive recommended, they say, but looks pretty good to me. It's this whole hard, casty limestone surface. The end of a beautiful cream-coloured dune that's fresher than the material that's underneath. So I'd say it was a recent blow-up in the last 5,000 to 10,000 years or so. And there's a continuation of it coming into view again now, where we've got a beautiful little peak of it. No pun intended. We're just crossing the ridge of the island now, which, as you can see, is the backside of that beautiful loose material dune, which is much younger than the older cast or hardened limestone surface beneath us. And we can see out to the east a continuation of that more recent dunal material on top of the old cast surface. This is Wanner Cove lookout, and you can see the old limestone layers in the cliff face over there to our left, and in fact in the little island, and the way in which the wave cut platform is there on the left of the picture. And then you swing around and you can see the tip of the Eyre Peninsula, and as we come around facing more towards the west, there's a beautiful fresh dune system there of more recent material that's thrown up on the top of this material which we're sitting on, which is old cast, K-A-R-S-T, but all hardened limestone surface. Even here you get the interdunal swales or salt plans being formed, and as I said earlier, back at the lookout, we've got these spectacular dunes that are blown in over the top of the old cast. This is the Sleaford dune system, and it's for four-wheel drives only, and there's a beautiful set of dunes to have a go at when you're rigged and ready for four-wheel driving, which we aren't at the moment. So we're going to get out of here. This is Pilly Lake that we're coming up to on the way towards the east, and I'd say it's a saline lake on the way towards Donington Beach, which is right out on our to the left and in the far distance. This is a camping area in the Eyre Peninsular conservation area, and what I think spectacular about it is the beautiful little almost hobbit forest, acacias and so on that make this area up, but also the fact that there in the distance is Port Lincoln. So you can sit here and sip your chilled wine as you have your camp barbecue and overlook the city of Port Lincoln. We go to Port Lincoln to Coffin Bay, which is about another 33 k's away. So we're heading west-southwest at the moment, and should be there in a while. And as you can see, the weather is beautiful. Just turned into the Coffin Bay road. It's 14 kilometres to Coffin Bay. We've still got these rolling dunes of old calcareous or limestone sandy soils. You see some in the cutting there to the left. So part of the extension of the Nullarbor Plain limestone plateau. On our right is Kelladai Bay, and it's a fully enclosed embayment, and beautiful little wetland samphire flats by the look of it. We're just coming into the Coffin Bay area, and we're looking into Kelladai Bay, which is separated by a peninsula directly opposite Coffin Bay. It's named by Matthew Flinders after one of his crew when they were here in the ship Investigator, because of Coffin's assistance in getting Flinders' expedition underway. And as we come into Coffin Bay, it's amazing in that it's about 97% surrounded by national park conservation areas and other protection methods, but literally a fisherman's paradise, regardless of what sort of marine product you want, whether it be shellfish, real fish, or whatever. It's here. This is downtown Coffin Bay. There's the information board to the left, and fuel and accommodation house all in one. Large number of small vessels in here as well. This is looking across the Coffin Bay area of the Kelladai Lake, embayment I should say. As you can see here, the number of birds that are present indicates that the fishermen aren't too much concerned about giving the locals a bit of a feed when they come back from a good day's fishing. They're old pelicans, and we've got the silver gull, and moved out of frame to the right was a Pacific gull. See one here moving back to the left. This one's a juvenile. It hasn't developed the bright red tip to its beak yet. Quite a diversity of houses. Obviously some of the people that have got beach shacks here either permanent residents or pretty well to do because of the quality of the houses, all the architecturally designed interesting shapes, etc., but a very picturesque little town. Right around the town there are beautiful outlooks over the local bays which surround it, and across the way with that dune is Rabbit Island and Kelladai Bay and Coffin Bay itself. The entrance to the Coffin Bay National Park. Here we've even got what we saw earlier over in the Eyre Peninsula, the daddy emu with the chicks. As we enter the Coffin Bay Park, you can see one of the big mobile dunes up to the right, and we're just cresting one now. She oaks with wattles underneath, but and some dead and very new growth giving red colours as well. There's Yangi Bay. This is Lake Jessie. Lovely little saltwater lake, and birds, sort of wading birds there. Nice steady four-wheel drive track along the side. As we proceed around that little lake, we're going to be confronted with a quick turn to the left, and we've got to run the tyres at low pressure again, just like the deserts. And there goes a bronze-winged pigeon. Somebody's been through here with tyres too tight, which has caused this bumpy in the road. Here we are leaving our campsite on Port Douglas in Coffin Bay, and again you can see that very rugged cast limestone coming out into the sea with lovely calcareous sandy beaches in between. Port Douglas, Coffin Bay. Here we've got this mixture of acacias and little fine leaf hardy plants that are able to survive on this very poor calcareous soil, and you can see here trees that look a bit like melaleucas, the paper barks. The VMS has got us on track, telling us to turn left, so away we go. One of the samphire or salt flats. Just as we make our way south, you can see those beautiful new dunes on the horizon there, sitting on top of this hard calcareous cast surface. We're coming up to Lake Damascus now, one of these landlocked salt lakes in the so common in this part of Australia, and the beautiful dunes over in the background. Ahead, running off to the left, we've got a whole flock of emus. My gosh. And the last one. This is just south of Lake Damascus, and you can see this beautiful seaward dune on the peninsula, and that dune would probably be less than 5,000 years old, so they're quite young geologically speaking.